Hello everyone, welcome to H&S Automotive, and thank you for taking an interest in this 2008 Mazda 3 Grand Touring Hatchback. So in this video, we'll be doing a walkthrough of this vehicle. I'll point out any imperfections the vehicle has, and then we'll also go over some of the major features and functions of this vehicle. Now before we get started, we would like to point out that we got this vehicle from an insurance company. This vehicle has some damage over here on the driver's side. So the driver's side front and rear doors were replaced. So these were taken off an existing Mazda 3. We did have them paint matched to the rest of the vehicle. It's got a beautiful blue paint to it. So as you can see, looks really good. So like I said, front driver and the passenger side doors were replaced. Now in this accident, there was no airbags deployed, no structural damage or anything like that. It was just basically mostly cosmetic on the doors. And I guess a little bit of a reminiscent of that damage right over here. Now with that being said, this vehicle does have a rebuilt Wisconsin title. So after replacing the doors, getting it paint matched and all that stuff, Wisconsin State Patrol basically comes to our shop, inspects the vehicle, does a safety inspection on it. They'll go over the undercarriage, the interior, make sure all the windows roll and all that stuff. So this vehicle's been fully inspected and it's ready for sale, but it will have a rebuilt title. All right, so with that out of the way, we'll get started with our walkthrough. Taking a look at the front, on the bumper cover, we do have a little bit of damage over here. Now, this vehicle is a 2008, so some of the damage that I'm going to go over is going to be pretty, pretty normal for its age and mileage. So, on the bottom bumper, we do have some damage right over here. Taking a look, a little bit of a paint chip right over here. And other than that, for the most part, the bumper's in very good condition. Now this vehicle is a 2008, has 131,000 miles on the odometer. Now Mazda headlights do tend to haze over. We'll try to get these buffed out so it'll look a little bit better than what it is right now. But this is a very common Mazda issue, is that the headlight starts to get hazy. Taking a look at the hood. Hood for the most part is very clean. I don't see any dents. I guess as I mentioned that there's a dent right over here, very minor, but it is there. Taking a look at the driver's side. Now the tires on this vehicle are in very good condition. So I guess the previous owner must have replaced them right before they got sideswiped. But the tires are in very good condition, well above the wear marks. And the tires are matching on all four sides, so no mismatched tires here. Brakes are also in very good condition, as you can see. The disc is wearing nice and even. The pad is contacting the full rotor. And like I said, this vehicle's gone through a safety inspection with the Wisconsin State Patrol. So the brakes, tires, and all that stuff are going to be in very good condition. Now, as I said before, these two doors were replaced and they were paint matched to the rest of the vehicle. And they open and close great. So there's no issues with the opening and closing. As you can tell, panel gaps are nice and even as well. All right. And then checking out the driver's side rear quarter panel. Quarter panel is also in very good condition. I don't see any dents or scratches. Once again, tires are in great condition, and then same goes for the brakes as well. And then this vehicle, since it is the S hatchback, it does have the bigger rims and tires. Definitely adds to the look of the vehicle. Checking a look at the rear of the vehicle, we have this hatch. The hatch opens and closes from a lever right over here. Got some floor mats right there. I don't see any dents or scratches or anything like that. The rear tail lights are actually in very good condition. No haziness or anything. And then checking out the rear bumper cover. No scrape marks. I don't see any plastic pieces that have been pushed in. So rear bumper cover is in very good condition. Now taking a look at the passenger side quarter panel. Once again, no dents or scratches. Now we do have a little bit of rust right over here. Now this is very common on these first generation Mazda 3s. This is actually in very good condition. Most of these Mazda 3s are just rotted out. Now we are in Wisconsin, so this is very, very minor, but some rust is present. And then checking out the rest of the doors. Once again, I don't see any dents or scratches or anything like that that sticks out. Same goes for the front door as well. And then we do have the mirrors that are paint matched to the rest of the vehicle as well. And then this fender is also in very good condition. All right, So that takes care of the exterior portion of the vehicle. We'll climb inside and take a look at the interior. Starting with the driver's door. Now, since this is a Grand Touring, we do have the heated leather seats in the front. We also have Bose surround sound. This one doesn't have that Bose thing, but if you take a look right there, we do have Bose surround sound in this vehicle. And then power windows, power door locks, and then power mirrors as well. Guys, so as you can see, we are behind the steering wheel of this Mazda. From here, we'll take a look at the instrument cluster. As you can see, the vehicle does have 131,000 miles on the odometer. The RPMs are nice and smooth. Now, we do have a tire pressure light right there. This is just for one of the sensors in the tires. Must be bad, but none of the tires are losing any air. This is very common in these older cars. Like I said, this is a 2008, so the tire pressure monitors do tend to go out at that age. But other than the tire pressure light, there's no check engine light or transmission light or anything like that. Engine and drivetrain are in very good condition. So we'll leave the vehicle run for a little bit, and then taking a look at the steering wheel. We do have some steering wheel mounted controls. On the right side of the steering wheel, we have the cruise control for the vehicle. So turn it on or off is just this button over here, and then to accelerate or decelerate, it's just this little toggle switch right there. And then we've got the horn in the middle, and then on the left side we have our audio controls. So you can increase or decrease your volume right from here and do a bunch of other stuff. Right behind the steering wheel, we have our turn signal stalk, and then also doubles as headlight operation. And then we've got the wiper controls right there. And then checking out the dashboard. As you guys can tell, no cracks or rips or tears on the dashboard at all. And then in the middle, we have our audio controls for the vehicle. Now we have AM, FM, satellite, CD, and then this vehicle does have aux connectivity as well. It's just located right under this armrest. So aux connectivity, and then we have dual climate controls. And then underneath the audio system, we have our climate controls for the vehicle. We have our fan speed right over here, and then temperature controls are right here, and then the vent controls are right in the middle. All right, and then right beneath that, a few other switches, and then these are the controls for the heated leather seats in the front for the driver and the passenger. Nice little touch there. And then 12-volt power outlet right here, and then a little storage cubby right there. This vehicle does have a automatic transmission with the option to shift manually as well. So nice little touch there, and then more storage, and then we have cup holders right over here, and then a parking brake as well. Awesome. Give you a little overview of the interior. And then we do also have a sunroof as well, which folds up and then also slides back as well. All right, nice and smooth operation there. So from here, we will check out the rear seating area. All right, guys, we got our rear door right here. And then checking out the rear seats. Leather seats in the rear as well. And then we do have this armrest that folds out. And then displays some cup holders, doubles as an armrest as well. And then these seats do also fold flat. So if you have additional items that you need to carry or transport, it opens up all this room. So hatchbacks are very popular for that reason. Awesome. So as you guys can tell, the vehicle is currently running, but from here, we'll take a closer look in the engine compartment. All right, guys, so as you can tell, we're in the engine compartment for this vehicle. Now, the engine compartment is a little bit dirty. It was sitting in the body shop, and all that body shop dust does tend to get all over the place, so we'll try to get this cleaned up. But from here, I'll just kind of be quiet for a second, let you guys take a listen. So we have a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine, made it to a 5-speed automatic transmission. Runs very smooth, and the transmission shifts very smooth as well. And these drivetrains are actually very reliable in these vehicles. And then we have a timing chain on this engine and not a timing belt, so lifetime system. And then as you guys can tell, nice and smooth running engine, no odd noises or vibrations. Awesome. From here, we'll check out the undercarriage. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, we've got this Mazda on the lift. So from here, we'll be checking out the undercarriage. I'll start from the front, work my way towards the back. We'll start off with the front suspension. So taking a look at the passenger side front suspension, as you can see, we got the CV shaft right over here. The CV boot is nice and intact. It's not ripped or torn. Now, if this was ripped or torn, we would see grease all over the place. It needs to be a mess down here. But as you can see, nice and dry. Other than it being just a little bit dirty, there's no issues. Everything's properly mounted and secured. We got the lower control arm right over here, lower subframe. And then right over here, we've got the driver's side front suspension. Same story here. CV shaft is nice and intact. The boot's nice and intact. No issues there. All right, so checking out the engine compartment. So we got the engine right over here and then the transmission over here. As you can see, there's no active leaks or anything like that, other than just a little bit of minor seepage, which is common over time, or normal over time. And then just kind of working our way back, we got the power steering rack right over here. None of the lines are leaking either. And then, just move this apparatus out of the way. Moving on, right down the middle. So we have our subframe over here. Now on camera it probably looks horrible, but there's no corrosion holes or anything like that. It's not like I can put a screwdriver through this. No, these are just the factory holes that come with the vehicle. So other than just some surface rust, no real issues there. Right over here we got our exhaust running up to the engine of the vehicle. I'll try to get a view in there to show you guys there's no leaks or anything like that. Now if there were leaks, we would obviously see it right down here, but the oil pan's nice and dry. So right over here we got the rocker panel for the vehicle. Now once again, other than just some surface rust, there's no real corrosion issues or anything like that. We can still lift the vehicle up using the rocker panels. Now for our viewers in like Texas, let's say Texas or California, this probably looks horrible to you, but in Wisconsin this is perfectly normal for vehicles. This is actually better than normal. Most of the vehicles at this age are completely just rusted out, but this vehicle still has the factory undercoating, which is still intact. Typically this has all been stripped away by now. And then same goes for the passenger side. Passenger side rocker panels are intact and they still have structural rigidity. So like I said, we can lift the vehicle up from here, no issues. And then we still have the factory undercoating right over here as well. And then taking a look at the fuel and brake lines right over here. As you can see, these have no corrosion issues or anything like that. And then right over here, we've got the heat shields. Now we do have to get this heat shield screwed into place. This is very common for these heat shields, especially at this age, to fall off, but we'll get this mounted and secured. And then right over here we have the rear suspension area. We got the rear spring and then the rear shocks. The shocks are not leaking, and then all the suspension components are properly mounted and secured. And then same goes for the driver's side as well. We got the rear spring not broken, and then the shock is not leaking or anything like that. So then once again, we got our rear structural area right over here, and then on the passenger side right there. All right, and then that was the undercarriage portion. I'll just kind of show you guys a better view of the tires from underneath. We'll work our way back towards the front. All right. Once again, guys, thank you for taking an interest in this 2008 Mazda 3. If you guys have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to ask and we'll be happy to get those answered for you. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye-bye.